It's most essential to differentiate between the two pitchers.
So Turmel stands in the circle against Claudia Shibilova. First pitch up high. She had the only hit against Michigan in the first of the doubleheader today for Czechia. Bumps her up from the 2 spot to the leadoff hole. Count 1-1, swinging early.
Sometimes when you have a loss like they did in the previous game, you just got to switch everything up, make it feel like a completely different ball game. And then if someone got a hit, move them up. They're seeing the ball well enough.
Favorite movie, Good Will Hunting. Would have been great if she had a base hit there. Could have said, how do you like these apples? The ball and 2 strikes. Turmel, 15 years old. Misses high, 2-2. She is the hardest thrower on this Canadian roster. About 62, 63 miles an hour. About 100 kilometers an hour. 2-2. Illegal was called. So 3 balls and 2 strikes.
We've seen a lot of illegal pitches called in this tournament. Let's take a look at it. A lot of it has been exactly that, in the front foot, stepping off the rubber as your first move rather than using that right foot, the front foot, to push off the rubber. Your first move cannot be with the foot that's on the rubber.
So from a strikeout to a 3-2 count, fouled away.
And it's kind of hard as a pitcher when you've probably been pitching like this all season, and then now you come to this tournament, the highest stakes, and you're getting some illegal pitches called against you.
Payoff. Roped out toward right field, over the head of Dupont and off the bottom of the fence. And Shibilova into scoring position right off the bat. Europe with a much better start, putting its first game today behind it.
And there's a reason they moved her up in the lineup. It's because she had a good at-bat last game, picks up where she left off. Textbook gap hitting. Keeping your front shoulder goes longer, extending more. And this is already feeling like a different start for Czechia.
Joanna Barankova takes a strike. Hit by a pitch. Had a really good at-bat to start off the game against Michigan this afternoon. Wound up stealing a base, was then thrown out at third, which was a play that Czechia asked to be reviewed. She was still ruled out. Talk about momentum swings. Had she been safe, does the game look any different with Czechia getting on the board first?
Yeah, it's weird how much the game of softball revolves around momentum, and that shut down quite a bit of momentum for Czechia, especially because they went to the challenge and lost the challenge. I had a feeling that they were doing that because they knew that they had to get on the board and then just wasn't able to.
With nobody out, Twenge Malcolmer is halfway down the line at third base defensively, expecting there could be a bunt, just try to push the runner over. Well, she's backed up now. Down on strikes, 1 away.
There's that rise ball from Turmel that we've seen the first time she played on this field. She's able to spot it at different levels, but just a really good job to get ahead so she can go back to it. When I say different levels, that's what I'm talking about. That could be a borderline strikeout looking call if Barankovic doesn't swing just because of where it starts and where it ends. Starts at the mid-thigh, ends at the chest, so it forces the batter to swing.
Bara Jedelska came off the bench 0 for 1. First game of the doubleheader for Czechia today. 17-year-old, big team leader for this bunch. Hit hard to third, and the double play ball nearly thrown away. Twenge Malcolmer, who starts at third base for the first time this tournament, up to the task here early.
And I like the heads up after this line drive to Malcolmer to go to second. Just a little bit too high, but always looking for the next play. And then center fielder Martel doing a good job backing up. If she's not there for the backup, The runner's going to move from second and third pretty easily.
Nothing in the count to Maketa Shvekova, starting pitcher in the first game today. It's in the cleanup spot as the DP today in game 2.
Her special talent is one of my favorites. I've already mentioned it this week, but her special talent is to rage bait everyone. And I don't think I've ever seen that listed as someone's special talent, nor have I ever heard someone say that's their special talent.
I think unfortunately it's probably a lot of people's talent nowadays.
But hers is special. It's different than just being able to do it. It's special. She must have a unique way of rage baiting her teammates.
Swings through a high one to make it 2-2. A leadoff double here in the first inning. But Czechia is one pitch away from not being able to do anything more with it. Termel's 2-2. Do it again.
One thing about Termel that I didn't quite notice the first game is where she starts on the mound. That last pitch, she was about as far over on the right side. So if you're the batter, as far over on the right side of the mound as possible. So just a different look.
Saw Tanguy Malcolmer at third base, making her first start there. Collard has been a great piece over at first. And a ground ball just wide of her foul.
Now we've seen Collard at first make a ton of good plays. One of the first games that Canada played in the tournament, she made a crucial stretch play. Went into a full split. It went to review. Went in her favor, but just very athletic there at first.
2-2 on the infield. And Collard on cue. Heard her name. 3 up, 3 down after the leadoff double. Nothing for Czechia in the first.
Not checking out the pace.
Easiest name to write down in that lineup card for Francois Martel is Kellyanne Ashi, lefty batting catcher. In the leadoff spot, she has reached to start a ball game 3 times in 3 games in this tournament. Scored the first 2 times. Canada has gotten off on the right foot almost every game. Gonna have to do it against Nela Shveskova, who is the best arm that Czechia has to work with.
Shveskova really impressed me her first appearance in the tournament. A really good rise ball. It was working for her in the top part of the zone, being able to spot it in kind of 3 different areas. One that starts at the knee, rises to the thigh, one starting at the thigh, rising to the belt, and then continuing to move it up, starting at the chest to the helmet. So she throws it in every count. Some of the best spin I've seen in this tournament. So seeing if she can pitch the same she did her opening night.
Shveskova was the winning pitcher in the regional championship. 7 innings, 1 run allowed to move Czechia past the team from Milan, Italy, and to the States. Ashi takes high. She was 0 for 1 yesterday. When she reached in the first inning, it was on a walk. She has done that 4 times in the tournament.
That's what you want out of your leadoff. Get on base. It is such a way to get some momentum going for your team and also gives you the best chance of scoring. I think oftentimes in games when you're facing elite pitchers, the easiest time to score is in the beginning of the game before they've fully settled in and learned your swing.
Friedlova over at third base was creeping in. And that's a strike. So 2-1 to settle down for the 17-year-old. And we showed you Ashi's favorite player in sports, hockey player. Shveskova's favorite team, San Jose Sharks. 2-1. 3-1. Hockey's big in Czechia, but San Jose is a long way from Europe.
There has to be a special connection that we didn't see on the survey, or was it put on the survey? Because I saw that, and I was like, maybe is this a mistake? But you saw it too, so it's confirmed.
Outside corner. And the count runneth full on Ashe. Blue helmets with the R on the front for Royal On Field. That's the name of the Little League program from Montreal. And there is ball 4. Ashe has been aboard to start a game 4 times in 4 games for Canada.
Just a coach's dream when your leadoff has an eye like that. Coaches also told us that she can make contact with the ball anywhere, so wherever it's pitched, but here using that eye to get on base.
Catherine Martell, as a New Jersey native, that is a favorite singer I can agree with. Strike, bottom of the zone. It is interesting that we talked about Catherine Martell knowing Celine Dion the other day. Loses out the favorite singer category to John Bon Jovi.
It's just one of those things when you're close enough to a celebrity or an artist, it doesn't make it maybe as good. But I don't know, because Celine Dion's phenomenal, so...
Different genres.
I guess so. I guess maybe that's why.
Better key changes, though. Friedlova is in again at third. Martell does have 3 infield hits this tournament. 0-2. Nubbed it foul. No, that's a fair ball. Or drop third strike, excuse me.
But first base was occupied.
I swore that she caught a piece of it, so she is out.
But really didn't need the throw to first because first base was occupied. Let's see if she fouled off.
Nope, it's just the glove. It was just the way that everybody reacted. I'm like, the ball's in foul territory, but everything is happening way too fast.
I think sometimes when you're behind the plate, the game feels extra fast, especially in the first inning. And you sometimes forget the small little rules about when first base is occupied with less than 2, the drop third is not in effect. So the runner probably would have moved up either way. It wasn't based on the throw, but...
I mean, you may as well go. Worst they can do is tell you to sit down. Laurence Dupont, the right fielder.
That was a phenomenal job behind the plate by Slavakova to work from the lower part of the zone and work through that pitch. That was right at the knees, kind of borderline. She made it look like a strike. Those are the little things that catchers doesn't show up in the book, but it really matters for pitchers.
Chased away. That pitch was exactly where it was supposed to be. Slavakova was set up way outside.
That's what I like pitchers to do with 2 strikes. Put it in the other batter's box. That has some good spin. We've seen Sveskova work that rise, but now she's kind of using that curve as well.
Second strikeout as Julia Collard steps in. Chasing high. And Canada is off balance here in the first inning. A little bit fishing.
You got to be pretty picky with the rise ball pitcher on those balls that are on the up part of the zone. Wherever it starts coming in, you got to know it's going to continue to rise, so you got to pick one out maybe a little bit lower at the knee. That will end more in the strike zone. If you pick something that starts at the letters, it's only going to get higher from there, so it's going to go out of the strike zone.
One, 1 and 2. Couple of strikeouts, a walk, a runner in scoring position, no score. Bottom of the first. A win guarantees you advance onto the elimination bracket tomorrow. A loss could make things interesting.
Yeah, this game has slowly turned into a must-win for both these teams. To sleep a little bit better tonight, knowing that they've made it into the elimination portion of this tournament. Top 8 teams move on.
Got her on strikes. walks the first batter, then strikes out the side. No score.
So that's really hard for a batter to be able to distinguish a change. When pitchers have that flip change, from experience for me, when I see the back of a hand, it makes it a little bit easier to identify the pitch. So not the same for Turmel.
Starts with a strike on the outside to Slavikova. Was not in the lineup in the first game today for Czechia. Does the catching here tonight. Fouls that away to make it 0-2. Cassandra Turmel, just 15 years of age in the circle. And Czechia is getting its first taste of her. 12 strikeouts in 8 innings. Just 3 hits, no runs. Tried to get a chase. And in true Quebec fashion, her favorite food is poutine.
We had to do a little research before this game started because I didn't know what that food consisted of. Sounds good, a little cheese curd action within it. I love myself a good cheese curd.
Cheese curd, French fries, and warm brown gravy. Invented in Canada in the late 50s. Who quite invented it? As far as which restaurant is up for debate. That and a beaver tail you gotta have when you go to Quebec. Still 1-2. It's basically fried dough with like M&Ms on it.
The defense behind Turmel has been shifting after they get the call. You see how they all move towards the right.
Outside corner, called strike 3. Doesn't need her defense right now. That is 2 strikeouts. It brings up Yuritkova.
Defense shifted towards the right, and I believe that's because Turmel was going curveball outside, so shifting to where if the batter hits it correctly, where they would be. As a batter, I'm using that to my advantage. The outfield right now are all shifting towards the left. We'll see if Turmel goes in.
Yuritkova on the ground foul. Now you've picked up on that. If you're a Czechia batter, do you think they've picked up on A, the movement, and then B, what that tell is?
I think they could probably by now pick up the movement, but the shift doesn't always depend on what location the ball is going to be in. So if they're shifting towards the left, you might assume it's going to be an inside pitch, but that could mean that it's a changeup out that they're expecting you to pull. So you can't automatically assume based on where they're shifting that that's the location. You still got to see ball, hit ball, so I wouldn't worry too much about the defense. We're also far enough into the tournament that if there was some scouting done, they could be shifting.
Batter is number 6, Emma Frappo.
So you see Dupont out in right field. About 4 steps to her left, and then 3 more steps, played herself right into it.
So it's lining them up pretty correctly on where the ball is expected to be hit. And I used this when I was about this age as well. As a catcher and an outfielder, we kind of relayed signs with the middle infielders, so they'll kind of show you them behind their back.
Freebova to short. Gagliano. 1-2-3 inning for Turmel. Continues to be one of the more dominant pitchers in this tournament. And we're still scoreless. Bottom 2. 7 swings and misses in the first inning tonight. Walked the leadoff batter. Kelly Anashi's been walked by everybody in this tournament. She's just very patient, but then struck out the side. So Eve Boudouin leads things off here in the 5-hole. And pulls back the bunt. Did she? Yes, she did, so strike 1. We'll call that 8 swings and misses.
Not really surprised that we're going to see a bunt or some small ball in this game. It's pretty evident 2 innings in that both these pitchers have some filthy stuff. So on both sides, I do expect them to try and manufacture runs rather than go for a long ball or try and string together doubles. It's going to be getting base runners on and then anything you can to move them over.
You talk about Sveshkova cupping the ball, and you can see it when you watch her right wrist here. That ball is kind of hidden behind it as she comes home. If it's so effective, why don't more people do it?
doesn't feel as natural. I mean, when you pick up a ball when you're younger and you first start to learn how to pitch, you usually don't pick it up with your wrist in that position, and so it's probably something that Sveskova has learned throughout her career, and then other players don't try it because they've never started to do that.
Swing and a miss, went upstairs, and that's 4 consecutive strikeouts.
That brings up number 6.
It's almost like she's false gripping the ball, if you use gymnastics terms.
Just climbing the ladder on this one. That's what elite and smart pitchers do. When they're really ahead of a count, they put it in the zones that are unhittable for the batter.
Brings up Crompton, the second baseman. Starts for Lexi Lonier. Takes a called strike. A couple of changes in the lineup for Canada today. Excuse me, Lonier in this spot. Crompton next.
Her dream job as a pilot, if she could meet someone, it would be Amelia Earhart. So put those two together. She's got some big dreams. We've seen dream job as flight attendant, dream job pilot. I said it earlier, I do not enjoy flying, and these girls have some bravery to want to be in control while up in the sky. I'd rather close my window and let the pilot take care of everything.
Floated up and away. Crompton is next, then Gagliano, and then Tanguay Malcolbert. 2-2. Got her low. And Lonier is down looking. That is 5 consecutive strikeouts.
And watch how the catcher is able to bring that ball from the shins to the knee in one fluid motion rather than catching it and then yanking it up. It kind of tricks the umpire that that's where she caught it. So a great job by Slavakova behind the plate to work from the bottom half of the zone through it. She's done that a few times in this game, but when you can have a rise ball like Sveskova and then a catcher who can frame the bottom half, you're getting both parts of the vertical zone. That's hard to be able to adjust to as a batter.
We have an illegal pitch call, which will lead to the conversation of why, and then that info will be relayed. But it's the same thing virtually every time.
There needs to be a conversation, especially this tournament coming in within the umpires, that if that front foot that's on the rubber is the first thing to go off of the rubber and move towards the batter, they must be specifically looking for it because it has been called almost every game.
2 balls and no strikes. Leadoff runner on in the first, strikeouts since. And 3 balls and no strikes to Crompton. 15-year-old. Her favorite book is The Hunger Games, also her favorite movie. So the rare movie approval after reading the books. That's a strike. 3-1. Are we assuming that's the original Hunger Games?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's not a fact, this is my opinion, but I don't think the other Hunger Games can compare to the first one, especially because you come into the movie, you don't know exactly what's going to happen. It's really
ball 4. That Ballad of Songbird and Snakes was pretty good. Crompton is the second aboard. So a pair of walks and strikeouts for the rest of us. And if you play defense for Czechia, hang in there. Gagliano has 1 hit in this tournament. It was a 3-run homer against the Southeast team from South Carolina. Swing and a miss again. It is whiff stuff. That is 10 swing and misses.
It means the ball is moving out the hand of Sveskova. And it's also looking enticing enough that the batters are going for balls that might be moving out of the zone.
Runs it up and away.
Joel, I've learned a lot after these coaches' meetings and going through the surveys of the players. I also learned what ringwet is. A sport in Canada that a lot of the girls say that they play. It's kind of similar to hockey. Instead of a puck, it's a ring.
1-1 for a strike. Similar pitch that got Lanier looking.
That is basically the same pitch, starting at the shins. Slavikova behind the plate, able to bring it up about to the knee, but that time the umpire didn't go for it.
2-2. Gagliano is a ringwet player. It is a truly Canadian sport. It was invented in Canada in 1963 and had a little bit of backing to be a heritage sport at the Olympics in Vancouver in 2010, but it obviously ultimately didn't make it that far. 2-2. Got her. Striking out the side, just 2 walks as the blemishes so far for Sveskova. 6 outs, all Ks. ORG. Anna Ringlerova to lead things off here for Czechia. The 15-year-old getting the start at first base today. Her favorite athlete is her cousin, Jan Zavistran, 3-time Olympian for Czechia in alpine skiing, and a gold medalist in the World Championships at Lake Placid in 2023. Two and one now the count. Imagine there's really good skiing in Czechia.
And based on the surveys that we continue to talk about, and a lot of their favorite hobbies include some of those winter sports, winter activities. How cool is that, that her cousin competing in the Olympics?
There's a strike at the knees. It has been consistent. And Ringlerova goes down staring. That's strikeout number 3.
Yeah, we saw this last inning in favor of Czechia. This time Termel, the same zone. Now that's pretty borderline. That's a tough pitch as a batter to have to foul off and worry about at the shin, but it's been called a couple times now, so you expect both teams to start adjusting.
Anna Friedlova starts at third base. 2 for 9 in the tournament. Walked in the first game today for Czechia. 2 balls and no strikes. And it's now 3 balls and no strikes.
Similar to what we saw with Termel the first game when she was on this field, she slipped. That one a little slip. First time she was smiling. This time she was not smiling, so you wonder if there was any uncomfortability.
Our first 3-0 count, able to pick up a strike. And it's now 3-1. Termel gave up a leadoff double in the first inning, has not allowed a base runner since, and you can see her playing with her landing spot a little bit. Now 3-2.
Similar for both Termel, and on the other side for Czechia, Sveskova, that first batter's gone on, and after that, it's locked them in. Strikeouts after strikeouts.
Payoff. Ground ball, left side. And Tanguy Malcomer chucks it high. Great job to pick it, but a runner aboard for the first time since the first batter, who coincidentally is back up at the plate here in the third.
Malcolmber was on this ball easily, and then didn't really set her feet, so she's throwing off the front foot rather than using her back leg to drive this ball. So that's why it kind of floats in the air. She had enough time with the speed and direction to kind of set her feet, maybe even do a pump to get her feet set. But that base runner, this could be crucial for Czechia. As we know, we're having an elite pitching game.
Shbilova sees one high. That'll allow the runner to make it down to second. Shbilova doubled off the wall in center field. 7 pitches into the ball game. Was left there.
She'd love to do that again now with the runner on second base.
And it may only take one with these 2 pitchers in the circle.
Yeah. In a pitcher's duel like this, it comes down to 1 or 2 plays that really are the difference. Whether that's someone being the hero or a miscue. Which that's pressure, and I liked that pressure of those tight ball games. Yes, scoring a lot of runs is fun, but the competition aspect of a close ball game, that's what I lived for.
Get me over strike. Turmel has been behind each of the batters this inning. Trying to stay out of a jam. It's now 3-2.
When a pitcher that throws strikes like Turmel gets behind, you know she's going to come back and try and pitch you a strike, not put a free pass on board. So if I'm a batter, I'm hacking, but specifically with her up ball spin, I'm going to hack on a down plane to hit a line drive.
That's line drive into left field, down for a knock. Around third base, Friedlova scores, and Czechia is on the board first. Shbilova.
I said it last time, and I'll say it again. She was moved up to the #1 spot in the lineup for a reason, because she has a swing like this going the opposite way this time. Outfield was slightly shifted over to right field. Shbilova goes the opposite way, letting that ball travel deeper in the zone, keeping the front shoulder closed. And now 2 doubles for her to 2 sides of the field. That's impressive.
Now Barankova, who struck out back in the first, takes a strike. That started a string of 7 consecutive outs for Turmel. That was ended with the error that put Friedlova on. The other way foul.
I know we're still early in this game, and how I talked about how these tight ball games, where you can assume this is going to be a tight ball game because of the pitchers in the circle, and how usually those ball games are determined by 1 or 2 plays. You have to go back to the fact that Friedlova was on base because of the error by Malcolmber at third. So without that error, it would just be Shbilova on second with another double, not an RBI double.
Ball and 2 strikes. See how Turmel gets out of this with minimal damage, because staring down the barrel of another great arm is her offense. Changeup. And she did not go on appeal to Mark Derringer.
What a
He's
hold.
the crew chief down at third.
Let's take a look. Ooh, that's as close as it gets. It's always hard to see that with your bare eye, but I think on replay it looks like she still held it by a hair.
Still 1-2. Just waste that foul. I think that's a really good example. We talked in the last game for Czechia about being able to waste a pitch away on a foul, like intentionally foul one off. She just didn't like it, didn't want to take a chance that was called a strike.
Yeah, I think slappers do it best. I told you last game I wasn't the best at being able to purposely foul something off, but that's kind of a perfect example of it.
And called on strikes, another low one goes down staring. It's been there for both pitchers, and that is strikeout number 4.
I think this one was even lower.
Number 18.
Look at where that ends. That's a tough position to be in as a batter, forced to swing at that. But if you're a pitcher, you gotta love this strike zone on the bottom half, because think about it, if a batter swings at that, the chances of them getting a hit are really slim. They've really gotta lift it. If not, it's gonna be a ground ball.
Jedelska back up the middle, over the second base bag, and the wave around third, and Shamilova comes in to score. So an RBI double, then a run, and it is 2-0 Czechia. Jedelska delivers the second.
Jedelska going right back up the middle. Flat swing through the zone. Great timing, short and compact, great sweet sequence by her. So hips, then hands. With 2 outs, runners going 2 bases, so not really a shot to get the runner out of home, but good piece of hitting by Jedelska. Clutch with 2 outs.
Misses downstairs to Shvedkova. Popped up foul to first base to end the first inning. She's 0 for 1. The other thing to keep in mind about some of these lower strikes is it's where the ball crosses the plate, not necessarily where it finishes. So it might look like the catcher is catching it low, and she may be, but the ball is crossing 1.5 feet ahead of there. So maybe some even later drop.
Yeah, definitely. You can see a little bit of frustration on Turmel's face after the last pitch. And you have to assume it's because both of these pitchers are rise ball pitchers. And so the upper part of the zone like that is not being called. And so it doesn't work necessarily in their favor of kind of their go-to pitches. So a conversation now.
Batter is number 15.
It's going to happen in the circle, and I think at the right time, because Turmel's a little bit frustrated with the zone.
And Slavakova will hit with 2 aboard. That walk, just her second of the tournament in almost 11 innings of work, 10 2/3.
She throws strikes, just likes to work on the top half. But the zone has been consistent for both sides, and so I think she can still use it to her favor. She works her rise kind of towards the shins, lets it rise up to the knees, and she can get that call.
Got an umpires conference during this timeout as well. Jackie Wingate, our home plate umpire, talking with Mark Derringer, the crew chief.
Trying to listen in just a bit.
And I wonder if Wingate's okay.
It doesn't look like she's feeling okay. It has been a really hot and humid day here at the field. So maybe she's grabbing a drink, maybe trying to rehydrate herself. And the home plate umpire, they're wearing gear to protect themselves. So even though it's night and it's cooled down, the home plate umpire still has a lot of extra on them that's making it even warmer for them. Now this is just me assuming that this is because of the heat, because it was hot earlier, but you just hope that she's okay.
Taking a look at Andrew Shriver and Edwin Ortiz. Mark Derringer, the crew chief, got the call at third as a replacement on this crew before the game started. And it looks like the athletic training staff and the medical staff is taking a look at Jackie Wingate.
Yeah, she's sitting down. You can see a bit in this angle. It's kind of odd how it happened. It wasn't like a foul ball or anything that hit her. Just during the timeout, she was standing a little bit in front of home plate, and then her head was down and slowly walked to the dugout. So you really hope that she's okay. Has been a long and hot day for these umpires. We're very grateful for all that they do to make this game happen.
They come to Delaware from little leagues all across the world. There are 4 international umpires as part of this 16-member umpiring cohort. It is the umpire do-up, and we do now have a full umpiring crew.
And it's worth noting that the timeout taken by Canada kind of started because Trammell was a little bit frustrated with not getting some pitches for strikes. And so just looking to see if she can bounce back in the circle.
Yeah, talk about that dynamic of it, because as a pitcher, you now have a different umpire calling balls and strikes. So you've gotten used to one zone. You're looking at something that is entirely different now going forward.
Yeah, and I'm sure that both sides kind of changed their game plan. They're both rise ball pitchers. The previous zone was getting called right there at the knee, so in the lower part. So you had to see the pitchers adjust as well as the batters. So now the pitchers are going to have to adjust again. I can assume based on the body language of Trammell before the timeout, not liking the zone, that maybe she might like this zone more, but now you have to readjust in the 3rd inning when usually as a pitcher and a catcher as that battery duo, the first few innings, 1 through 3, 1 through 4, you're kind of figuring out the zone, building that trust with the umpires. After that 1 through 4 kind of innings, 5, 6, and 7, specifically the 7th inning, you've kind of created that relationship with the umpire that calls might go more towards your strength. So now you have to rebuild that relationship with the umpire as a battery unit in the circle and behind the plate.
Now a couple of things are happening here. Number one, Trammell is getting her arm loose to throw pitches in a game again. But you've also got an umpire that's saying, all right, I got to see a few here before we get going for live action. Fresh count. Start off a new at bat here for Joanna Slavakova.
Joanna Slavakova.
2-1. Swings first pitch and absolutely hammers it. That ball is gone! 3-run blast for Czechia. Slavakova wasting no time.
And Czechia was extremely loose during that delay and just having some fun. What about this? Having some fun in the box as well. Look at how her hips are the first thing that go. It almost looks like she cheated using her hips. She knew off the bat coming out the box that ball was gone. So the delay can sometimes affect your mental game, but for Czechia and specifically Slavakova, it worked in their favor. Just all the momentum right now. 2 outs, that's as clutch as it can get.
Swinging a chopper to second, and Lunier with the out to end the frame. But it's the time and the long break. Czechia stayed loose. In real time, almost what feels like about a half an hour ago. She's been on the bench cool for quite a while, but I think she'll take the trade getting the offense.
Now you can pitch differently when you have a lead like she does now. You can pitch, number one, more freely because you know one swing is not going to change the game for you, but you can definitely attack batters and force them to swing the bat, allow them to put the ball in play, and use your defense behind you.
I do appreciate how much Slavakova tries to frame these pitches, and working with a new umpire who did not have to call a ball or strike in the last half inning after subbing in. First pitch, 3-run homer. Second pitch, ground ball to second base. This one's a ground ball foul to third.
Yeah, so we really don't know what this new zone is quite yet. And the pitchers and catchers are having to figure it out as well as the batters. Previous zone was lower part, both rise ball pitchers, so having to adjust. So we're in the 3rd inning, potentially a brand new zone. So just a lot of adjustments for these young ladies.
Twangay Malcolmer, first at bat of the tournament. When she takes one high, 2-2, was a starting pitcher yesterday for Canada. Walk me through the mentality for Slavakova in the top of the inning. Because you have this break, 10, 15 minutes or so, and then the first pitch, she goes hunting and drives it over the fence.
Yeah, I think it was because she was so loose in between that delay of just having so much fun. And sometimes as players, you put a lot on your shoulders in trying to produce for your team. And you got to remember, you fell in love with this game by having fun. And so I think that definitely played into the home run.
Fourth full count, third walk issued by Sveshkova. There's only two things that have happened in the game offensively for Canada tonight. They have walked or struck out.
This dugout for Canada got really loud after that at bat and the walk. And one way in softball to create momentum, it starts in the dugout. It doesn't always have to be a hit that gets your team going. You can kind of create momentum, and that's the beauty of the game. The cheering, you don't see that in baseball, the unique cheers. So you can start creating your momentum in the dugout, and it starts to lead to production in the batter's box.
Yuratkova comes in to run at first base. And Kalyan Ashi steps in, having walked, reaching as the first batter of the game for Canada for the fourth straight game back in the first inning. And that hit her. So Buckley goes down to second base. Ashi goes over to first.
There's two base runners, both free passes, first walk, second hit by pitch. I knew Ashe wanted to hit because her body language after was a little bit upset. But a base runner is a base runner. When you're down by 5, you need base runners at all cost.
Just listen to how rowdy the dugout is for Canada. Swinging away, that is foul. It's almost like the Canadians have fed off the Czech momentum. Yeah. Just the energy has upped on both sides.
Yeah, sometimes it takes getting punched to wake up and get things going yourselves. So it looks like Canada is feeding off of, especially that 3-run bomb from Czechia the other half of the inning.
Cuts through it. It's 0-2. Catherine Martell struck out on 4 pitches back in the first. Flag football is a big one. An emerging sport in the NCAA here in the States. 0-2. 1-2.
I'm jealous that flag football is getting more popular. I wish I could have played when I was in school. It's a sanctioned sport in a lot of the United States now.
Would your coaches have let you be a dual sport athlete?
Flag football, maybe not.
I think it's a spring sport too, so 1-2 is cut on and missed. Down on strikes goes Martell.
Look at the composure in the circle by Sveshkova. 2 free passes, goes right at the next batter, next play mentality. The rise ball in the lower part of the zone, so it's really enticing for a batter. It's almost like they have to swing and then it rises just enough to miss the barrel.
Would you have been a quarterback?
You know, I played powder puff in the middle of my junior year softball season.
Over the leaping glove of Barankova at second base. The wave for Buckley around third, and Canada is on the board.
Canada is fired up like they just tied this game, and it can feel like that when you're facing a pitcher like Sveshkova. A great piece of hitting on the outside part of the zone, driving it oppo taco. Staying through it, keeping that front shoulder closed, but the most important part is letting it travel. And with the upspin of Sveshkova in the circle, line drives have been hard to come by. A lot of swings and misses.
first hit for the Canadians tonight. Also draws the mound visit as Sveshkova gets a conversation from the entire infield and her head coach, and a water break, which I think maybe more than anything else, even though it's still early in the inning, it is still hot and sticky here in Delmarva. Eastern shore of Maryland up into Delaware. Delmarva, literally Delmarva, Delaware, Maryland, Virginia. I realized that yesterday.
It is still muggy. It's around 82, but it feels much warmer because of the humidity. So players still having to deal with the weather as a factor.
Collard pulls down a bunt. Scooting over to second is Dupont. And Slavikova wasn't going to bite. Chased Ashi back to third. Collard struck out back in the first inning. Infield way in. It's 0-2.
Yeah, the middle infielders specifically are playing well in front of the baseline, so they might be expecting a slow roller off the end of the bat, and they're still going to go home. Although they have the lead, they're not taking any chances on letting Canada cut into it anymore.
That's away. Collard has been one of the best run producers in this tournament, 6 RBI, and that was in the first 2 games. She was held off the board against Michigan yesterday.
When we asked Canada staff about her, they said simple, pure hitter mentality.
1-2 on the ground. Snared by the diving Yadelska. In time for the out. Run does score. And at this juncture of the game, that's all that matters. Still very early, and Canada's back within 3.
And just a really good job by Yadelska. Shortstop stopping this ball that saves another run. Yes, a run does score, but she gets an out. That ball gets through. 2 runs are in. It's a 2-run ball game, so laying out, keeping the ball in front, it's a good play.
We'll get some changes for Canada. Eve Baudouin is due up, but we don't currently have a batter. Looked for a hot second like we might get a new runner.
Number 18, Rosie Dandreau, pinch hitting.
And it'll just be the pinch hitter. So Rosie D'Andrew, the 15-year-old, who started playing softball in 2023. She has been playing this sport for 3 years. Hit .443 this year. Two for 8 in the tournament. Swinging away.
And for only having played for a few years, she has quickly learned that your best pitch against a rise ball pitcher is going to be one of the first ones that you see, and she was ready to attack straight off the bench. She wasn't actually even in the on-deck circle, so quite literally straight out the dugout onto the field. Didn't get her timing. That's one way to find your timing, is to swing first pitch.
Third run of the game stands at third. Check. Not in time by the Czechs.
I love the aggression behind the plate. The leadoff at third by Dupont is pretty lengthy for a runner at third, and so you want to keep her honest and keep her close to the bag.
Way high and tight. It's interesting how much Dupont is dancing, because there's 2 outs, so you're probably not going to small ball her home. Like a base hit's going to score you, but she's just trying to get in people's heads.
She's trying to bait, maybe an errant throw.
Sveshkova induces another swing and a miss.
That was a good pitch. Felt like it had a little more zip to it up in the zone. Her composure this inning, as kind of the intensity has heightened, has been phenomenal.
2 out, 2-2. Popped foul. That strike 2 was the 14th swing and miss that Sveshtkova has induced tonight in 2 2/3 innings.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. She is spinning this ball well.
Again, the 2-2. Chopped. That's a fair ball. Now it's not. Credit to everyone for playing it through.
Home plate umpire didn't initially call it. Umpire down first baseline was the first one I could see. But hit off the plate and then immediately hit Dan Dreher. But like you said, Bill, everyone kind of playing it out until the umpires stop you. Every player in this tournament's done a good job of that.
Foul it away again. I mean, if it's fair, they say nothing. So if you hear nothing, just play, and then when you hear foul. But sometimes your brain plays tricks on you.
How about this at bat by the pinch hitter, Dan Dreher? It's hard enough to be a pinch hitter, but to have a great at bat like this, either way it goes, she's seen a ton of pitches and just battled.
And takes strike 3. She had fought 4 fouls off. Goes down looking. And a runner stranded, all 5 runs in the 3rd inning. Inning was kind of divvied up into 2 with that long break. With the umpire change, and Slavakova homering on the first pitch out of it. Emma Fribova was the only person that did not bat last inning. And it's 1-2.
This is starting to feel like playoffs, elimination bracket for both sides. Yes, it means a little bit more for Czechia to make their way in, but the fight from Canada. So this is preparing both teams in the right way for what's starting tomorrow.
Chopper towards shortstop. And it's bobbled, dropped, picked back up by Collard, but not in time. So the leadoff runner is on. Gagliano's throw was low.
I think this throw starts because of how Gagliano fields it. She should flip her glove right there, and then it causes a little bit of an uncomfortable throw for her. We've seen Collard have some really fantastic catches at first. That one just couldn't quite snag. Could tell by her body language she knew she could get it, but sets up the middles for a potential force out and or potential double play.
They have ruled that a single. So the leadoff runner is on. That is also at least a single. It's going to roll to the fence for more. Fribova comes toward 3rd, and it's a double for Ringlerova. 2 in scoring position, nobody out for Czechia.
And just great pieces of hitting tonight from Czechia, especially going to the right side, gap hitting, staying on this ball as long as possible. Great base running, and a good decision, I think, to hold up Fribova there at 3rd. When it gets over Malkenberg's head, the backstops and the fences at the side are short.
Intentional walk.
Just saw an intentional walk.
We haven't seen that yet in this tournament, and this is an interesting choice. I understand why. It's to put the force everywhere. So strategically, it's thinking about how the defense lines up. The infield will now come in, but you're doing this to face the person who has 2 doubles tonight. The hottest hitter, right back up the middle, off the glove of Termel, and out at first, 1-4-3. 1 run does score with Fribova coming across.
The ball hard hit up the middle. I think because Termel is able to knock it down, it allows the time for second baseman Lonier to get on this and get an out at 1. She originally checked to see if another runner she could throw out, which made the play at first a little bit closer, but another intentional walk. So
Another intentional pass.
interesting strategy by Canada to put more runners on base
Batters number 18,
to get the force at home.
Brings up Bara Yadelska. RBI single in the third, line drive to third for an out in the first. First pitch taken for a strike. Got some pop in her bat. Hit 12 home runs this season. And won a U18 European Championship. Ground ball, left side. Nice snag by Malcolbert. Well, it pays off for Canada. They load the bases intentionally and with a nifty spin get the out at home.
This is a really good play by Malcolbert at third base. She's kind of shading towards the line. First step, able to get over to her left. A little spin move to set her feet. I said interesting choice by Canada, but turns out to be the right choice because they are able to get that force at home. Sometimes when you're in pressure situations, pressure games, you want to make things easier for your players, and I think having forces at every base makes it easier rather than base runners can start some pickles, more chaos on the bases. So this makes Canada understand the best plays.
Just outside. Base is loaded. Shvekova, designated player, walking a run in the third on the homer from Slavakova. Healthy cut. Those rises are enticing.
Yeah, there's no way if I was batting right now I'd be able to let off of them. They're kind of right behind home plate and they look like they're going to be a great pitch to swing at.
3-1. And a strike across the letters. Check to third, closer than it should have been. Friedlova was just kind of waltzing back.
Just a really good job by Ashe. Kind of subtly getting up out of the crouch and then seeing that the base runner was kind of leisurely getting back to third and then to snap a throw. I think Francois Martel wanted to challenge that, but then Ashe, the catcher, couldn't quite make out. It sounded like she said no. So Francois Martel doesn't challenge, but I like that play behind the plate.
Although we may have spoken too soon. Yep, it's gonna be a challenge.
Sounds like the coaching staff might have had a little bit of a conversation in the dugout. And I think this is a good decision with the point that you are at the game. Bases are still loaded. Any way you can get out of this with limiting Czechia to only one run, that's a win. That's close.
As it stands, the count is full, the bases are loaded. So you could think to yourself, well, just get the out at home. However, if you don't have to, more power to you.
With 2 outs, the runners after this, on this pitch will be on the move. So everyone's in motion. That creates quite a bit of chaos on the bases. We take another look at it. The original call was safe, and so that's what really matters in this situation. Is there enough evidence to overturn? It has to be undeniable evidence to overturn this to make this an out. Going back to one of the first things I noticed was when Francois Martel, the manager, came out the dugout, catcher Ashe said something to him that made him kind of turn around and go back to the dugout. So maybe she told him from her angle she didn't get the runner, Fribova, but coaches kind of took another second to talk about it and then eventually decided to challenge this.
6th run of the game has come across for Czechia here in the 4th. Fribova with a leadoff single. And Ringlerova with a double. Friedlova with the intentional walk. Another intentional walk after an out by Barankova. And here we are with the bases still loaded. Full count, 2 outs. On Shvekova. I don't think we've seen one overturned yet at this tournament. And the runner is safe.
Yeah, I don't think we have seen one overturned. That's credit to our umpires for getting the call right the first time with their bare eye. Some of these to the bare eye, I definitely would have them turned over against me because it's hard to see without that replay.
Payoff pitch. Bases full, 4-run game. We'll do it again.
With the 3-2, 2 outs, runners are on the move, so if you're an infielder, you gotta hold your ground, not let the runners moving affect you. And not let it speed you up either.
Healthy cuts just underneath.
I'm missing it by just a tad. I wonder if Turmel right now is going to be gutsy and go with a changeup. Might freeze Mackey the batter.
Gotta feel good about the control. Has to be a strike. And right back to the fence again. Her timing is on.
Now she's just inches away from being able to launch a ball. Her bat speed is outstanding. Her timing is pretty much there, just on the bottom half of the ball. If she can get top half, she can send this ball out.
8th pitch to Shvekova. Out toward right field. Foul but caught, and the inning is over. So Canada gets out of it with the Southeast team from South Carolina. Today she has 8 in 4 innings. Well, in 3 innings, we're in the 4th. Starts behind Lexi Lanier. Now, she's throwing the entire game tonight, more than likely, at this point. Can she come back tomorrow and be really dangerous against a team that maybe had a better pool play week?
You know, I think she can. I keep saying how the heat and the long days are wearing these girls out. Then I forget how young they are. So they are more than prepared to be able to pitch in this tournament. And tomorrow's elimination, win or go home. So that's where the real guts is shown, because your pitching and your season is on the line. So I'm sure she will be more than ready to go tomorrow if she is called on.
Ball and 2 strikes. Bottom of the order here for Canada, 6, 7, 8. Struck out looking back in the 2nd inning.
That was on one of those drops in the lower part of the zone, or I could even say a low rise, because of the way that it spun from the shin kind of towards the knee as it came in. So just kind of froze her.
1-2 on strikes. They do have to tag her, and that is strikeout number 9.
She goes back to the same pitch she struck her on last time, that really low rise. Even hard for the catcher, Slavakova, behind the plate to snag it, but a really smart decision by Slavakova to go for the tag rather than create an extra throw over to first base. Oftentimes catchers are so used to just picking it up and throwing it on a drop third strike to 1, and it's oftentimes not needed if the batter doesn't run, so a good job heads up to not create an extra throw.
10 outs, 9 strikeouts. Nothing in 1. The only person who has put the ball in play for an out is Julia Collard. RBI ground out in the 3rd. 1 hit that belongs to Laurence Dupont, the batter before Collard last inning. 1-1. This Czechia team representing Prague, capital of Czechia, 5th most visited city in all of Europe, but they come from all over the country. 2 balls and a strike. So some have to travel several hours to be able to train together. This Canada team, all from suburban Montreal. They play together pretty consistently throughout the year. Two-one. Just missed.
When we talked to coaching staff for Czechia, specifically Wojtek Kasper, their first base coach, said that softball isn't the most popular sport in Czechia, and players and families have to invest a lot of time and money. And so coming to this tournament where they come for free and their gear is free, it means so much to them.
Crompton with a big let's go after drawing her second walk. 4th one that Canada has picked up tonight.
Joel, Canada is in this game, yes, because of their play, but more importantly, their dugout. Their dugout is electric, creating momentum for itself. When I played softball, we'd call this time the sleepy ha-has because it's late, the lights are on.
Dribbler, and that's off the glove of Jedelska at shortstop. Canada's gonna keep being hyped in the dugout.
Smart decision by Sveskova to pick this ball up and go 2, because she did have the force out. Just the throw got a little bit away from her. Shortstop, Jedelska, if she uses her right foot and kind of treats that as a first baseman catch rather than her left foot on the bag and leaning with her body towards the left, I think she could have put a better glove on it. Obviously, that's getting very picky with that play, but there wasn't really a chance to turn a double play, so that's why I'm saying that Jedelska, the shortstop, should treat it as a first baseman. So right foot on the back, stretching towards the ball. That gives her more versatility in case the ball takes her up in the air or down in the dirt.
Takia Buckley is your pinch runner. Canada, for a team that has 1 hit, down by 4, doesn't feel like it's down by 4. And right now, all it needs is some really solid contact, and it's a 1 or 2 run game.
Yeah, before that ball was put in play, I was saying it feels like they kind of have the sleepy ha-has, which is when it gets late at night and you kind of get silly and have a lot of fun. And that's kind of, I looked at the dugout a few times, and the faces and the rally hats of Canada, they're having as much fun as possible right now and really kind of bringing the momentum back on their side just from their energy. They haven't had that one big hit just yet.
Bunt popped up. Nice diving attempt and catch made by Slavikova. And Twenge Malcolbert dispatched of for out number 2.
What a snag behind the plate by Slavikova. Full Superman laying out exactly the type of play you need to get the momentum back on your side and kind of make a dugout go a little bit quieter. It's a completely different ball game with 2 outs and runners on first and second now.
And Kellyanne Hashi steps up, having been hit by a pitch and having drawn a walk. Boy, if Canada gets nothing out of this, that would be enormous for Czechia. By the way, the sleepy ha-has are dangerous because that's when a serving size of ice cream turns into a quart. In my world, huh? Buckley is the pinch runner at second. Gagliano at first. That's a strike.
I don't know if sleepy ha-has is the right kind of phrase because it doesn't look like Canada is at all sleepy, but just kind of that feeling when it gets late at night and the focus goes from super strict focus to fun focused.
To the backstop, both runners will advance.
You could see Sveskova kind of tapping herself, saying her bad. I've loved her composure throughout this game. Canada's dugout, we've been mentioning, has been very loud, very rowdy, and Sveskova has kept a smile on her face, just kind of playing with some joy and not making the moment too big.
This is the person you'd want up if you're Canada. Contact toward third. Friedlova eats it up to end the inning. That goes 5-3. And Canada, after all that, nothing.
Swing that she had. I'm giving her the green light in every count, including 3-0.
Went down looking in the second, 1 for 2 today. She is swinging first pitch. Good contact. Kellyanne Ashi looked like she stumbled on the way to first base at the end of the last half inning, so Canada does have a new catcher here. Slavakovits is short. Gagliano in time for the out. And that's a big loss at the moment for Canada because Ashi is maybe their best offensive threat.
Gagliano doing a good job moving her body towards her right to get in front of this. And then a strong throw over to first. 5-6 hole coverage has been very good for Canada. Malcolmber, the third baseman, and Gagliano, nothing has been able to really sneak through.
Yuritkova, fly out, ground out. New catcher's Rosalie Paradis doesn't get the call on the frame. Paradis is 16 years old. She is the team clown. Now 2-1. Also, her favorite movie is 10 Things I Hate About You, which was, I think, the single most referenced favorite movie for all of these teams, and it's incredible how one film can stand the test of time, like a decade later. And that hit the batter.
And Joel, we've been talking about it kind of off air, on air, that I don't really watch movies, but that's a movie I have watched, so I can agree with all of these young ladies putting that on the survey. That might have been in my pool, my selective pool of favorite movies that I could have put on there as well.
Paradis' favorite TV show, Smallville, also a throwback. Runner goes. Paradis throw on down, not in time, and it gets away. So Yuritkova makes it corner to corner, and that has to be calculated if you're Czechia. New catcher, let's test her arm.
Absolutely. But I think they might have just called her for leaving early at first, so a bit of a break there for Canada.
Yeah, Yuritkova's out.
Yeah.
So now 2 down here in the 5th inning.
Has to stay on the base until the pitcher releases the ball. And definitely close there at first.
Now Czechia has not used a review yet. Canada has. It has 1 left. Czechia still has both, and the umpires will conference. That left foot is
still on the bag, and that is almost perfect timing, honestly. I do not know how the umpire saw that with his bare eye, but that would have been hard to overturn if Czechia tried to challenge because of how close it was.
It's not a challengeable play. So that was the thing that the umpires discussed there. It's also a tough call to make, though, because when it's that close, it's almost that you have to give the benefit of the doubt to the runner, don't you?
Yeah. I believe the first game of this tournament that we called, the umpires actually went to go review it and then found out not reviewable. So that's why it was just a shorter meeting this time.
Up and away. You have to keep in mind that you play basically an entire season without the ability to review things. And now you're in this situation where you've got an additional piece thrown into the mix that everybody always wishes they had. It's 3-1.
It's just kind of funny that one of the kind of overarching replays that I think teams from around the world would love to be able to replay is leaving early, because you think it happens a lot more.
In the air, Dupont. Nope, she's called off by Lonier. That stayed on the infield. And it winds up turning into a 1-2-3 frame. Czechia leads by 4.
And then the third part is rise ball pitchers might make a mistake here and there, and you have to be able to do damage on a mistake pitch.
Catherine Martel takes a strike to lead us off.
Similar to that pitch, where it's kind of belt high, didn't really seem to have that much upward movement. Those are the pitches that you have to attack. You don't want to be in the hands of Sveskova when she can throw a rise ball, a changeup now that we've seen.
Mila Sveskova pitched in the Junior League World Series, won a game in the Junior League World Series on her first trip to the U.S. Played in Kirkland, Washington. Chopper. I don't know how that didn't hit the batter. Martel is safe at first base. If it didn't, this is geometrically challenging.
Really good pitch, outside corner. Watch how she dodges it, jumps right over it. That's athleticism at its finest. A good job by the catcher, Slavikova, to barehand this ball. And as she's barehanding, gotta take a look at that again. Look at how she dodges it. That's awesome. And continues to keep running. We always talk about the softball gods, and sometimes they reward athleticism like that. And now she's on base.
In this, the year of the World Cup, she nutmegged the softball. It is an error the umpires are going to discuss, but we can tell you it did not hit her. And Martel is standing there at first base making the safe sign.
Maybe she was hoping the umpire, she was convincing them in the background.
Also had a couple of defensive changes prior to the inning for Czechia, one of them being a new first baseman. Shetsova moved over from the DP spot to play first base. And they are reviewing this. Well, she's going to be safe, so that should be the review.
Yeah, we've seen this a few times, going over how athletic it was to be able to kind of jump over the ball, so we can pretty much guarantee this call will stand and Martel will be at first base. But I really like how catcher Slavikova barehanded it and set her feet to make that play. Like you said, Joel, the new first baseman couldn't quite hang on to it.
So Shetsova, who is the new first baseman, moves Ringlerova to shortstop and Yadelska to third. And Friedlova is out, who was the third baseman.
A lot of defensive changes. And sometimes you see this later in games where coaches start the game with, let's just say, their best hitters, and then once they get a lead, they switch up the defense that maybe girls have played in those positions a little bit more, so more comfortable defense, or maybe just switching things around to be able to have your best shot at keeping the other team to the score that they have now. But also, we always talk about when a new player gets in the game, the ball always tends to find you, and so that ball found Mackey, the first baseman, pretty quick.
Safe. Martel knew it. I mean, we've all been there, right? You're walking in the woods and there's a giant puddle that you don't see coming, and all of a sudden,
For Canada is number 9.
your skills built in the wilderness.
I usually just walk right into the puddle. I've dodged a few softballs going down the line a few times in my day.
This is Dupont. Way high. Dupont's sister Alicia played in the Little League World Series last year for Royal on field out of Canada. Seared up the middle. Station to station with Martel sliding into second. It was closer than it should have been because of how hard the ball was hit. Now, here is the question. Can Canada do something with this?
This is about the time they need to. This is a phenomenal hit up the middle. Hit so hard, but look at the way Emma Fribova, the center fielder, charges that ball. Also allows that to be a much closer play than you might expect, but good hitting, good defense. It's kind of starting to feel like the inning that if Canada wants to score and tie this game, they got to get it done.
Swings through the first offering. Laurence Dupont now has both hits for Canada tonight. RBI single in the third, RBI here in the fifth. Collard has 6 RBI in the tournament, one of the leaders in the field. Smokes that, but back on it from shortstop. Ringlarova makes the play. You said when you're into the game at a new position, the ball tends to find you. If I'm Yadelska now at third, I'd have my head on a swivel.
This is what makes Seveska one of the best pitchers in this tournament, is her ability to bounce back, not let things compile. So after an error and then a hit, she goes right at the next batter.
Chopper toward first, step on the bag. Two down. No, foul.
Number 6.
I don't really know.
Although that's not.
That
They just sent the runners back.
definitely wasn't foul on video.
Unless they called it illegal. Although I just heard foul yelled out somewhere on the field, so the umpires will conference.
I mean, even after Svetskova had the ball in her glove, she still hadn't crossed over foul, so she received it in fair, tagged the base in fair, and the umpire saw something different. Okay.
And she is out.
She is out.
Well, but Martel went back to second. She went to third on the play. Francois Martel is the one facing us. A couple of coaches in there, I think, for translation purposes. Martel does speak English. His first language is French. And they're going to throw to third. Are they trying to now get a force of... But, like, time is clearly called. Okay, so they're going to advance the runners, as they would have. And now we'll get comments from the Czechia bench.
This is a bit confusing because the out at first advanced the runners from second to third. The runners for Canada, I assume, they thought that was a foul ball, so they took it upon themselves maybe to go back to the original bag because the call wasn't originally made as an out at first. That's just me assuming. We can't quite understand all the conversation happening right in front of home plate.
Martel reached on an error. Dupont singled. Both should have advanced second to third. Now, that's clearly a fair ball. Is there an out? Yep, there's an out call made. Nobody ever signals foul. You would see hands in the air to call that foul and dead. If it's fair, nothing is said, and an out is made.
Get some out.
We started talking about the out different view.
Yeah, there's fair signaled by the home plate umpire.
But the base runners, they thought it was foul, so they took it upon themselves and started going back, which there should be multiple outs now in this play because ball is in the pitcher's circle and they both left their bag. And as long as you're in motion towards the next bag, even if you're jogging, you can continue to move. After you have stopped, you can't get off the bag again because that then calls leaving early. So in reality, this should be inning over because Canada base runners left their bags after an out was clearly made by the first base umpire.
But at what point was time essentially called? So then to be able to go throw the ball to third base to get the out that you should be able to get, but the game has moved on. Does that make sense?
The ball, once the ball reaches the pitcher's circle, that is kind of, in a sense, dead ball play doesn't continue because base runners are on the bags.
And like the batter stepped back into the box.
So the ball hit to first, first baseman tags one, umpire makes the call that it's fair behind home plate, first base umpire makes the call out. Ball is in the pitcher's mound, base runner should stop. Base runner on second retreats back to first, base runner on third retreats back to second. The ball has been in the pitcher's circle and both runners had stopped at their bags. So in reality, those runners should both be out. Let's take another look at it. Ball's at first, out called by home plate umpire. Now, base runners are at second and third at this point. Ball's in the pitcher's circle, runners should stay, but the runners end up moving. So that's basically a leaving early call for both of them. The batter thinks that it's foul ball, so she's back at home, but she's already out. She's out of the question. And at the end of all of this, the Canada runners shouldn't be now rewarded the bases that they were originally at because they kind of left early in a sense.
And then the confusing piece that happens after that is no call was made. So nobody said, you're out, you're out. Everything just kind of froze. Everybody's in different places on the field. What's happening?
Yeah. I can honestly say I've never seen this in all my years of playing.
You have the outlines written down? I have the outlines written down.
This should, if the call is, as we're saying it on air, this should be inning over. And if you could get 4 outs in an inning, it would be 4 outs because both base runners moved.
Yep.
It sounds like, or it seems like Canada, they kind of just assumed it was a foul ball, but with our bare eyes up here, and the base runner, or excuse me, the batter, she thought, or she knew she was out. We started talking about the out, and then the chaos just continued.
Move on, or are you going to ride the ship out? He goes, oh, I'm going to probably ride the ship out, but I'm looking to, have a ship to jump to. I said, okay, that's good.
I want to say a lot to sort through, but not necessarily a lot to sort through.
It feels like a lot, but when you just break it down by first out, ball in the pitcher's circle, but base runners not allowed to move after they've committed to their bag. It seems simple, but it's kind of been a very complicated sequence of events.
Kansas City is that, I really don't want to go to either coast. I said, okay, I get it. I said, I wouldn't send anybody to the coast.
Okay, so the runners are now being sent back. First and second, 2 outs. So it's almost as if the out at first never happened except for the fact that it's an out.
Yeah.
Like the out happened. Right, the out happened, the runners go back, so like no impact on them, if that makes everything after that. First and second.
A big break for Canada and their base runners. I believe the umpires came to the conclusion that because the base runners went back on their own, it kind of just resets in this same scenario with an out. So something I can honestly say I have not ever seen nor been a part of. A break for Canada. Let's see if Canada can use that to their advantage. and score a few runs.
So it actually does kind of make sense because the force was at first base. So you got the out behind the runners. So there's truly nothing forcing them to go to second and third. So both runners went to second and third and then went back. Neither one crossed each other's path. You didn't have two people on a base at a time. They just, with no force pushing them anywhere, went back to their bases. So yeah, after all of that, the right call is two runners ran backwards.
I can agree with that part of the force was taken off, but both runners committed and were on second and third when the pitcher had the ball in the circle. That means you can no longer step off your base, and it would technically be runners have left early, because when the ball's in the circle for softball, that means that the play's kind of dead until she then releases the ball again. So I can't agree, the force was taken off, so they kind of just retreated on their own. The confusing part was the no call on the leaving early for each runner from the bag that they had stood on when the pitcher received the ball.
Both runners started to lead away, but Slavakova did a good job to keep it in front of her. 2 outs, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Czechia leads it by 4 here in the bottom of the 5th. Bases are loaded. Everybody advances to a bag and stays. Okay.
Gotta maybe hold ourselves out a little bit, making sure that they will all stay there.
Now the tying run is at the plate here for the Canadians. They only have 2 hits in the game, both by Laurence Dupont. She stands at second. Ground ball towards second. Could be a tough play. And she was out at second. So the tag with Lunier, tagged by the second baseman, even though she threw it to first. So it is a fielder's choice for Theories. Mickey Mantle dove back to first base safely after an out was recorded. That allowed the tying run to score. Eventually Bill Mazeroski hit the game winner for the Pirates. As Ringlerova is thrown out. 1 away here in the 6th. So, you know,
Number 9,
connoisseurs of baseball history, 70 years ago, although one of the more famous World Series games in baseball history.
And I don't think I'm going to let this go, Joel, but it still would have been different in baseball than softball, because baseball, you can be off the bag when the pitcher has the ball. But that will be the final statement I will make about last inning and kind of the craziness of that play. And we play on now in the top of the 6th.
Chopper off the glove of Turmel, off the glove of everybody. And Friedlova is safe.
We've seen just about a little bit of everything. Turmel off her glove and off the bag. And then it hits the glove of Gagliano.
And then the hand of Gagliano.
Yeah, a little bit of pinball.
Called strike. Not even Tommy was that successful.
I remember a few innings ago when Rice talked about the sleepy ha-has that Canada might have.
There's a chopper. This thing off nothing but the ground. Base hit. And there are 2 on with 1 out. Well, the team from Europe really needed this. Only 1 win so far in pool play, putting themselves in position to go 2-2.
Yeah, and they're playing like this is an elimination game. Really smart, really mature at-bats, attacking the best pitch that they find, not letting it go. Just on full attack mode. And that's how you get to a pitcher like Turmel, who throws a rise ball. You attack something a little lower in the zone.
And Turmel, I think, is going to be done. Yeah, we're going to get a pitching change. Jean Dion, who came on in relief for Canada yesterday, will replace Turmel with Canada down 4 in the 6th.
They say it's her best pitch, so offsetting that rise with a different speed and working it low in the zone.
And her first pitch misses down.
Number 4, Johanna Barankova.
Joanna Barankova, a couple of strikeouts, was intentionally walked back in the 4th inning. What at the time for Canada was a brilliant strategy to load the bases and create a force. Got Canada out of the jam.
We saw multiple intentional walks to load the bases, and it was early in the game, so not usual scenario that you see it, but definitely a smart one because it worked in their favor. Usually in the beginning of the game, when batters haven't seen your pitcher as much, you don't want to just give them more opportunities to see your pitcher, more at bats, but it kind of allowed Canada to focus on the force out at home.
Bunt, foul, for sure. This is the top of the order for Czechia. 6 runs, they broke through in the 3rd. The biggest hit, Joanna Slavakova, the 3-run homer on the first pitch after our umpiring delay. About a 10-minute break in the game. Swinging away once we got the go sign. 3-2, punched foul. It'll be interesting to see what Czechia does tomorrow in an elimination game. Shvechkova has been great today. A lot of strikeouts early, has adapted later in the game, been a really good ground ball pitcher. Through 5 innings, 92 pitches. It's only her 2nd usage, though, of the tournament, so still should have some stretch in her arm as we go into the elimination bracket tomorrow. And Barankova is aboard.
She should still be very fresh for tomorrow. I know pitching back-to-back is difficult for anyone, but I think saving her throughout the tournament has worked in Czechia's favor.
That gets away, bases are loaded, so a run coming home. Dion cannot make the catch, so Fridlova makes it 7-2 Czechia. Shibalova goes on down to 3rd, Barankova to 2nd.
This ball just slips out of the hand of Jean Dion's. A little early, good hustle by Paradis behind the plate, but it's not in time to be able to get the base runner. Fridlova at home.
Nice pick there by Paradis. 2nd catcher came in for an injured Achi a couple innings ago. 2-0. 3-0. Dion did pitch yesterday, 3 2/3 against Michigan. Came on to relieve Tanguy Malcolmbert. And misses high, ball 4, so the bases are again loaded. And now the cleanup hitter, Shvechkova, was 0 for 2 with a walk.
Batter is number 19.
It's the best offensive day for Czechia. 13 runs in its first 3 games. It has 7 today. Anything struck you differently about their approach?
They look more comfortable in the box, and sometimes it takes teams a few games to warm up and be themselves, especially if you've traveled a ways to get here, just getting acclimated to the time change, maybe a little bit different weather, and so it finally looks like they've settled in. They are playing this game like a must-win, so already in elimination mode of win or go home, because if they don't win this game, there's a chance that they don't make the top 8 seeds. And so sometimes it takes a situation like that to kind of wake your team up or have your team a better laser focus.
Still only 1 out, but now 2 strikes. That's floated in there, and it's floated over the head of Launière at second base. Relay cut off, and it might have allowed Czechia to score a second run. Barenkova sliding ahead of the throw.
This is a good job of hitting the change piece. Front foot down, keeping hands back longer. That's all it takes to be able to poke this to the outfield, especially innies are in because of the force. And this throw coming home, gotta let it go all the way. Think if that throw goes all the way, there's a play at home and an out for Canada. But that's where the extra communication comes in. So just a little lack of communication for Canada.
Haven't seen that in a while. Pitch took the glove clear off Paradis.
I think, Joel, in the game that we've had tonight.
Yeah, we've said this sentence a lot.
Yeah, you've said haven't seen that in a while, so I think we can leave that phrase behind in this game.
Slavakova with the big hit. 3-run blast back in the third. Shvekova at second with the double. Yadelska at third. That's fouled away. Czechia may outscore itself from the tournament previously tonight.
And what a way that would be for them to propel themselves into elimination that starts tomorrow.
They have 5 extra base hits tonight. They had 4 previous.
Yeah, so their bats are fully warmed up. Against a good staff, specifically starter Cassandra Termel for Canada.
That's smoked. Left center field. Ball has some carry, and that's a fantastic effort by Martel, but it drops. Yadelska scores. Slavakova winds up at second. Shvekova had to hold, so she only makes it to third.
And a good piece of hitting, letting that ball travel. This kind of disappeared into the night for us here in the booth. I thought this was out of the park. A great job by Martel, center fielder, great effort. All the runners had to freeze because it looked like she was going to be able to catch that ball. And so instead of maybe a bases clearing double, Svetkova had to stop at third.
Eighth batter of the inning is Yuritkova. Dion able to pull the string really well. Changes her out pitch. She's using it earlier in counts here too. And it has Czechia off balance.
Yeah, her coaches told us that's her best pitch. So she continues to utilize it. She can get Czechia out in front.
Toward third. It was foul. It was close. I thought that might have hit Tanguy Malcomer's glove before it skipped to the line.
With the night that we've had, some of the calls, I wouldn't be too surprised if it did skim her glove in fair territory. We've seen this kind of every night so far in the tournament, that when it gets to be this time, that the grass kind of develops this dew, so any ball that's touched the outfield grass, the pitchers have asked to change it out.
0-2 high. That is the humidity here in Delmarva. Thick. Runs away, 2-2. It's just that weather where your clothes kind of stick to you. It's almost like you can bite the air.
Yeah, it feels like we're in a bit of a sauna.
That would be a good word for it.
I don't know if I've heard someone describe it as bite the air, but sauna, yes.
3 balls and 2 strikes. John has thrown 23 pitches since coming on in relief. Yuritkova pops it up, foul territory, and that's a really good effort by Paradis. She makes the out for number 2. Catchers on both sides with some SC top 10 plays.
Paradis had to kind of go against the fence to be able to catch this. a really good job. As soon as this ball was hit, she finds it. First look is up. Then not afraid to run into the wall, holds on to it. Good effort. Joel, you said it. Both catchers have made great catches. That one against the fence. And then Slavikova for Czechia had a diving catch as well. So both of them doing a good job of helping their pitchers out.
Fribova did reach on an error in the fourth. That's where that run comes from. Chopper. Tough spot. Paradis. Couple of nice plays back-to-back for the catcher. Came on in relief, and she earns her keep here in the sixth, but Czechia does more damage. It's up 10-2.